Sam and James. James. Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and good Shabbos this Memorial Day weekend from Huntington. Bit muggy out there today. It was raining most of the day, but that's okay. That's okay. We need the rain. Plants need the rain. Flowers need the rain. It is Erev Shabbat. It's the last Shabbat of the month of May. And then we are into summer, basically, right? After Memorial Day weekend. When I was in high school, this was the big weekend, the summer weekend kickoff for the theaters, movie theaters. It's when a bunch of blockbusters would come out and the summer officially started. So we're not quite there yet with summer, but we are nearing Shabbat. And so we have Sam here this evening, and he is going to bench lift for us. And there's a reading on page 3, and then the bracha for the Nerot is on page 2.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words which will speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahalik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Thank you, Sam. Welcome. All right, let's mix things up a little bit tonight and go to page 9 for a responsive reading. Page 9 at the top. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain.
On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share.
There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted.
On Shabbat, we stand with wonder before the mysteries of creation.
There are days when we act as if we care nothing for the rights of others.
On Shabbat, remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal.
So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. All right, we are going to continue with Kabbalah Shabbat. That's interesting. Kabbalah Shabbat means a couple of things. Comes from the root Kuf Bet Lamed, and Kabbalah comes from there. That's the main word, and that means revealed, right? So Shabbat is being revealed to us. Nothing is hidden on Shabbat. The presence of God is keenly felt, and the Shabbat comes and is revealed in all of its glory. Also means to receive, right? If you're going to have a reception for someone, it's called Kabbalat Panim, literally the receiving of the face. And so we receive the Shabbos bride and greet her as she comes to spend Shabbat with us. So page 20, and we'll continue with Lecha Dodi. Verses 1, 2, 3, 8, and 9. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, hishmi'anu el hamyuchad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'litchila, lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela, likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mekor ha'bracha, merosh mikedem nehesucha, Sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila, lecha dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela, Mikdash melech ir melucha, Kumitzi mitochafecha, Rav lahak shevet b'emechadacha, V'hu yachamo lalayichem la, Lecha dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela, Yamin u'smol tifrotzi, V'et Adonai taharitzi, Al yadish ben partzi, V'nismecha v'nagila, Lecha dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela, Boi v'shalom ateret bala, Gaham b'simcha uvtzola, Tochem u'ne'am segula, Boi chala, Lecha dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Let's turn the page to 22, and let's read together some verses from Psalm 92, the Psalm for Shabbat, and then we'll conclude with Tzaddik Tamar. A psalm, a song for Shabbat. It is good to praise Adonai, to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night, with a 10-stringed harp, with voice and lyre together. You have gladdened me by your deeds, Adonai. I shout for joy at your handiwork. How great are your works, Adonai. How very subtle your designs. A brute cannot know, a fool cannot understand this. Tzaddik Tamar yifrach, ke'erez balvanon, Yizke shetulim b'veit Adonai, b'chatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu, O Jinuvun v'seva, Deshenim vera'ananim yihiyu lehagid, Ki ashar Adonai zuri v'lo avlatabo. Page 24, Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zeitchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Page 145, we have welcomed the Shabbat. We have eased our way into the seventh day, the day of rest, and we're going to continue with Arvit, the evening service for Shabbat, page 145. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, b'yam hadivrach hirutei, b'yam lik malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. Bahagala, uvismahan kariv, v'yemeru, amen. Yesh me'raba mevorach, le'olam lo me'almaya. Yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitar, v'yitramam, v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, v'yitalev, v'yitalal, shmei dekudesha, brichu, leila min kol birchata, v'shirata, tushbechata, v'nechemata, damihiram v'yama, v'yemeru, amen. Page 146, we begin with Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai hamevorach.
Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam va'ed. Let's read responsively on page 147 near the bottom. Adonai, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to your power and wisdom.
Day follows day in endless succession, and the years vanish, but your sovereignty endures.
Though all things pass, let not your glory depart from us. Help us to become co-workers with you and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael, amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, v'shachbeinu v'kumeinu, nasiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'v'mitzvotecha, le'olam va'ed. Ki heim chayenu v'orech yameinu, v'orech yameinu. Uvahem nehege yomam v'layla, yomam v'layla. Ve'ahavatecha al tasir mimenu li'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levavcha, u'b'chol nafshecha, u'b'chol me'odecha, v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anochi mitzavecha, hayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha b'beitecha, uvlektecha havaderech, uveshokbecha uvkumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayulatotafot beineinecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Page 151, let's read responsively. We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all.
Yet that oneness eludes our grasp, imperfection and evil abound.
Before our eyes, there is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness.
There is evil enough to break the heart, and there is good enough to exalt the soul.
When will redemption come?
When we grant everyone what we claim for ourselves.
Long ago, we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High.
We learned God's presence redeems time and event, so we celebrate this power that makes for freedom.
Top of page 152. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nohora tehilo, ohosef eleh, malchutecha ra'u banecha, bokeyam lifnei Moshe, Zei anu v'amru, Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed, v'nemar kifad Adonai et Yaakov, ugalo mi'at chazak mimenu, baruch atah Adonai, ga'al Yisrael. The blessing that concludes the evening Shema here is Hashkibenu, and we'll sing the first two lines, and then we'll read the paragraph at the bottom of 153. Hashkibenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'ha'amidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkibenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'ha'amidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. You are true protection and safety. In your presence we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. Top of page 154, verses from the book of Shemot, from the book of Exodus, Vishamru. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית העולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית העולם. We are at the Amidah, the central prayer of our tradition. That and the Shema make up the two, I'm not going to say most important prayers, but the two, they are the most significant prayers in the tradition, the Shema and the Amidah. And we're going to begin on 155, chanting 155, 156, and 157 together, and then continuing through the end on 167. You can follow along in the Hebrew, you could read the English translation, or you can offer up your own personal meditation at this time. But we'll begin on page 155. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, Hanogra, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'konei hakol, v'zocher chastei avot v'imahot, u'mevi goel livnei b'neihem, leman shemo b'ahava, melech ozer u'moshia u'magen. Baruch atah Adonai, magen Avraham, v'ezrat Sarah, atah gibor li'olam Adonai, Mechaye metim atarav lehoshia, morid hatahal, mechalkel chayim bechesed, mechaye metim berachamim rabim, somech noflim verofeh cholim, umatir asurim, Umechaye be'emunato l'shenei afar michamocha ba'al givurot u'mido me'ela melech mimit u'mechaye u'matzmiach Yeshua v'ne'aman hatal hachayot meitim Baruch atah Adonai mechaye hametim. you're still completing your Amidah, please continue at your own pace. We're going to continue on page 160, reading together in the middle of the page. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may we all live in such a way that this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. All right, a little bit of hoda'ah, a little bit of gratitude. This week, lots of good things happened to me, to the world, all sorts of good things. Hakarat hatov, recognizing the good things that happen to us and focusing on those. And so for this evening's hoda'ah, top of page 163, we'll read responsively. For the good in us, which calls us to a better life, we give thanks.
For the strength to improve the world with our hearts and hands, we offer praise.
For the desire in us, which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful.
For life and nature, harmony and beauty, for the hopes of tomorrow, all praise to the source of being.
Top of 164, we close out with an appeal for shalom, for peace, for wholeness, for unity. Top of 164. Shalom bracha val Yisrael hamcha tasim le'olam. Shalom bracha val Yisrael hamcha tasim le'olam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom bracha al Yisrael hamcha tasim le'olam. Shalom bracha al Yisrael hamcha tasim le'olam. V'tov be'enecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol heitu v'chol sha'a bishlomecha. Shalom bracha al Yisrael hamcha tasim le'olam. Shalom bracha al Yisrael hamcha tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam. And we conclude with the last two lines. Praised are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamivorech et amo Yisrael, b'shalom. We're going to jump ahead to page 253 for the Mishaberach, the prayer for healing. And we'll find that in the middle of the page. If you have anybody who needs a little bit of extra healing this Shabbat, whether it's spiritual, emotional, or physical, keep them in your thoughts and close to your heart. Mi shebeherach avotenu mikor habracha le'imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mikor habracha Avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Pages 258 and 259, prayers for our congregation, our country, and Medina Yisrael. And we'll read these together. Source of all being, may the children of this community earn these passions from us: love of Torah, devotion in prayer, and support of the needy. May we guide with integrity, and may our leadership be your service. May those who teach and nourish us be blessed with satisfaction, and may we appreciate their time and their devotion. Bless us with the fruits of wisdom and understanding, and may our efforts bring fulfillment and joy. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. Thus says Adonai, this is what I desire, to unlock the fetters of wickedness and untie the cords of lawlessness, to let the oppressed go free, to break off every yoke. Share your bread with the hungry, and take the wretched poor into your home. When you see the naked, give clothing, and do not ignore your own kin. If you banish the yoke from your midst, the menacing hand, the evil speech, if you offer compassion to the hungry and satisfy the famished creature, then your light shall shine in darkness. Sha'alu Shalom Yerushalayim, Yish Layu Ohavayich. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you prosper. Avinu Shavashamayim, Tzur Yisrael V'Goalo, Barech Emedinat Yisrael, Reshit Tzmichat Geulatenu. Hagen Aleha B'Yavrat Chastecha, Ufros Aleha Sukat Shlomecha, Ushlach Orcha V'Amitecha L'Rosheha, Soreha V'Yoetzeha. V'takneim be'etza tova milfanecha, v'natata shalom ba'aretz, v'simchat olam liyoshveha, v'nomar Amen. O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love, spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen. All right. Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and good Shabbos. This starting to get into the depth of of Sefer Bamidbar, the third parsha, Baha'alotecha, and a lot of interesting things going on here. A couple of things that are, not so interesting, and then some interesting stuff that goes on. We get a couple of things repetition-wise in Baha'alotecha. The repetition of the command to install the menorah, right? And that's the 7-branched candelabrum, right? It's not a Chanukiah. A Chanukiah has 9, right? So all Chanukiot are menorot, but not all menorot are Chanukiot, right? So when somebody's talking about a menorah, they're usually talking about the 7-branched candelabrum. Moshe consecrates the Levites as assistants to the Kohanim, and they have a 25-year career. From ages 25 to 50, a Levite will serve and assist the Kohanim. We get this interesting, it's kind of I'm not going to call it a get-out-of-jail-free card, but we get what's called Pesach Sheni, the second Passover. And this is for people who, right before Pesach, have come into contact with a corpse, rendering them ritually impure, and they can't partake in the sacrifice or the ritual. or someone who is on a long journey and not, back near Jerusalem. And so they miss being able to make the Pesach sacrifice at the appointed time. So a month later, God says to Moshe, they can offer, these people who were on a long trip or who touched a corpse can offer the sacrifice, and they can eat it with the unleavened bread and the bitter herbs. But this isn't available for everyone, right? This is only available to people who come into contact with a dead body or are on a long trip. Anybody else who skips out on Pesach, it's on them, and they can't go back and have a do-over. And we get another interesting statement. This is part of the radicalness of the Torah, in which God says to Moshe, if a ger, if a stranger, somebody who's living amongst you but really isn't an official member of the group, if they want to offer a Pesach sacrifice, you have to let them do it. And they must do it according to the rules, right? So if a ger, if somebody who is a stranger wants to do this, they can do it, but they have to follow the rules. And we find out that during the day, a cloud will hover over or cover the area where the Mishkan is. And at night, there will be a cloud or a pillar of fire. And when the cloud lifts, Israel knows that that's God telling them it's time to set out on their journeys. And Moshe's commanded to have the craftsmen make silver trumpets, and these will be sounded by Aaron's sons, and they will be sounded at 4 distinct times, to signal the start of a journey, to gather the people for a meeting, a call to battle, and to announce a sacrifice, a festival, or another joyous occasion. And so we find out on the 20th day of the second month in the second year, they start their journeys. They break camp after having received the Torah, and they start going. And Moshe declares, Vayehi bin Soa ha'aron, right? We know this is from the beginning of the Torah service, right? Let the ark be taken out, when the ark was carried out. And what's interesting inside the Torah scroll is, if you are honored to get the reading in this week where this part happens, it's set off by inverted nuns. There are upside down nuns written inside the Torah scroll surrounding these couple of verses, and nobody knows why. I'm sure somebody knows why, but the reason behind it has been lost to us in history. And so a number of scholars suggest that maybe it's to signify that this is really out of place, that this belongs somewhere else, but was dropped in here. One of the more radical views is that it's an entire book of the Torah, just those few verses. And so that would that would make the book of Bamidbar actually 3 books of the Torah, right? The book that came before the inverted nuns, and then the stuff that comes after the inverted nuns would be a book, making the total 7 books of the Torah. I don't buy that one. I think it's just set off because it probably belongs somewhere else. And, we had to mark it somehow. And then 2 very, very significant things happen in the Parsha. The people complain about food, right? This is Jews complaining about food. Never will Jews complain about food. But here they do. They're tired of the manna, right? They're tired of the free lunch that God has been giving them, and they want meat. And God says, you want meat? I'll give you meat. You're not just going to eat it for 1 day or 2 days or even 7 days. You're going to eat it not just for a month. You're going to eat it until it comes out of your nostrils. And so quail was sent, and lo and behold, they had to eat it and eat it and eat it and eat it. And Moshe becomes upset, and he complains to God. And then after this event, God says, you know what? You got to appoint advisors. You got to appoint elders and officers to share the leadership. And this was a suggestion that Yitro made way back when, to take some of the load off of Moshe. And then the Torah portion this week concludes with Miriam and Aharon complaining about Moshe's wife. All right. This is one of the more sensitive pieces of the Torah. It's they complain about Moshe's wife because she's a Cushite, meaning that she was darker skinned than they were. And they're talking behind Moshe's back, and they don't know that God is listening in. And then God has Moshe call them out. And Miriam is afflicted with leprosy. And Aharon is the one who has to send her out of the camp and declare her unclean. And so this is one of the pieces where the rabbis really talk about the horrible effects of Lashon Hara. And so that's this week's Torah portion in a nutshell. Doesn't necessarily end on the happiest of notes with Miriam and Aharon getting into hot water, but we'll pick up their story next week. All right, so now that Shavuot has come and gone, we can start getting ready for the high holidays. Yes, I know they're still several months away, but at least we should start now, spiritually, getting ready for the high holidays. So the question is, when is the best time to do Chuva? Now, we know Chuva from the high holidays, and everybody likes to translate it as repent. And that sounds too non-Jewish for me, right? The word Chuva comes from the verb shuv, which means to return or turn, right? You can use it to go back, right? You say shuv, go back. Or you can use it to say, I had to return to the right path or something like that. So I like the idea of return. And so the idea is that, we realize that we might have come off the path, off the proper way of behaving. And so we want to return. And so we do tshuva, right? We turn around, we turn our lives around. Rabbi Eliezer in the Mishnah of Pirkei Avot, the Ethics of the Fathers, says, "V'shuv yom echad lifnei mitatech, mitatecha." Repent one day before your death, which is brilliant, because nobody knows that day. Nobody knows the day before we're going to die. And so what Rabbi Eliezer is saying, well, treat every day as if it's that last day. Treat every day and be in a state of tshuva, of a state of return, of a state of trying to get your life back on track. So I'm going to offer a new take on what I think Rabbi Eliezer is trying to teach us, right? I think he's telling us to take stock every day. Take a look at our lives on a daily basis and see where we've done well and where we've done not so well. And the rabbis have a word for this. Actually, it's two words, so it would be a phrase. It's called cheshbon hanefesh. Literally, it means an accounting of the soul. A cheshbon in modern Hebrew is the bill you get at a restaurant or the bill you have to pay at the grocery store. That's the cheshbon. And so it's usually something that's written down, right? In the old days, they used to write out the bill and hand it to you, right? And so that's the cheshbon nefesh. You're taking an account of your soul. You're checking your soul, literally. So you review your day, right? How were your interactions with people? Were you rude? Did you forget to say thank you? Were you upset in traffic? Did you speak unfairly about someone? Were you impatient with your family, your loved ones, right? All sorts of things we can come up with, right? Those little things that we need to work on. But we also need to, when we do a cheshbon nefesh, it's not just about the negatives. It's also about the positives. What did you do well today, right? What did you do that made you feel good? And then use these behaviors as motivations for change, right? To do less or fewer bad things and to do more good things. Right? And so you make a habit of this. Every night, take a couple of minutes before you go to bed and just review your day a little bit. Right? Some people like to write these things down. Several of my colleagues do. They write down where they kind of missed the mark during the day and where they did well, and then they review it at the end of the week and they see if their behavior or whatever they're trying to change has changed over the week. Right? If you do it enough, if you do it for about a month, right, it becomes a habit. And you start doing this. You start, looking at your day and saying, okay, I had a good day today. And then you can graduate into what we would call like a gratitude journal, where you write down the things that you're grateful for. Right? So, we're still several months away from the high holidays, but it's not too early to start thinking about them, to start thinking about, where we are in the promises that we made last year around the high holidays. Right, so Rabbi Levi Yitzchak of Berdichev, one of the early Hasidic masters, said, I did some things today that were wrong, that I shouldn't have done, but I won't do them tomorrow. And Rabbi Nachman of Breslov, someone whom I study and keep close to my life, said, if you're not going to be better tomorrow than you were today, then what need have you for tomorrow? Right? So Rabbi Levi Yitzchak of Berdichev and Rabbi Nachman kind of reminding us to take stock of our days and to improve. And so my wish and my blessing for us is that we all have a good day and an even better tomorrow. Shabbat Shalom and good Shabbos.
Shabbat Shalom.
All right, Sam, what time is it?
Kiddush
time. It is time for Kiddush. Vayhi Erev Vayhi Boker Yom HaShishi Vayechulu HaShamayim V'Haaretz V'Chol Tzivam Vayechal Elohim Bayom HaShvi'i Melachto Asher Asa Vayishbot Bayom HaShvi'i Mikol Melachto Asher Asa Vayevarech Elohim Et Yom HaShvi'i Vayikadesh Oto Kivo Shavat Mikol Melachto Asher Bara Elohim La'asot Savri Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam Borei Pri Hagafen Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam Asher Kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila l'mikra'ei kodesh zecher l'tziat mitzrayim ki banu v'acharta V'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen.
All right. Continue on page 282. Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol l'teit gedula liotzer breshit shelo asanu k'goyei haratzot v'lo samanu k'mishpachot hadama Shelo sam chelkeinu kahem begoraleinu kechol hamonam va'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shehu Noteh Shamayim V'Yoser Haaretz, U'Moshe V'Yikaro B'Shamayim Mimahal, U'Shchinatu Zo, V'Gov Hei Meromim, U'Eloheinu Ein Od, Emet Malkeinu Efes Ulato, Kakahatu V'Torato, Yadata Hayom V'Hashevota, Elevavecha, Ki Adonai Hu HaElohim, B'Shamayim Mimahal, V'al haaretz, Mitachat Eino. Kakatu b'toratecha, Adonai yimloch le'olam v'hed, v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lamelech al kol ha'aretz, v'yom hahu, Yehieh Adonai echad, Ushemo echad. This week we observed the following yahrzeits: Gerald Ambergy, Judy Lundy's brother; Pearl Botnick, Jan Chertow's mother; David Ginsburg; Max Mufson, Maury's father; Dr. Charles M. Polin, husband of Ruth, father of Chuck and Jean; George Siegel, Alan Siegel's father; Simon Fetter, husband of Goldie, father of Lawrence and Marjorie; Anna Jaroslaw, Belle Winston's mother; William Hartz, son of Ruby and Leonard, brother of Maury; Leila Jacobs Kuntz, wife of Morris, mother of Richard and Linda; Rose Booz, Marvin Fetter's maternal grandmother; Anna Berinsky, Manny Berinsky's mother; Sarah Guberman, Mary Cantor's sister, Pauline's aunt; Dr. Lincoln M. Polin, son of Lake Sr. and Bertha, brother of Josephine Smith; Carol Solov, relative of Jason Solov; Sidney Comet, son of Lillian and Reuben; Philip Hirsch, husband of Janice, father of Susie Brodoff and Cheryl Hirsch; Terry Radow, Steve's wife and Judy Woodruff's sister-in-law; Sam Barak, Hal Rudin's father-in-law; Lillian Comet, Sidney Comet's mother; Lawrence I. Glick, husband of Jane, father of Stephen and Eileen, cousin of David and Billy; Ralph Peter Hayflick, son of Jerry and Sally, brother of Faith and Nancy. May their souls be bound up in the bond of life eternal. May their memories be a blessing to us always, and may they all rest in peace. Mourner's Kaddish is found on page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'amha divrach hiruteh, ve'amlich malchuteh, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam lamei maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shmei kudsha brichu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata Ta'amiram v'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. All right, friends, we're just about done with services this evening. And I want to thank Sam and James for being here this evening. And just a couple of quick announcements. Services tomorrow morning at 10 and then Sunday morning at 9. Monday, the office is closed in honor of Memorial Day, and there's no Monday night class, the deep dive into Bereshit, because I'm sure people are going to be doing things with their families on Memorial Day. We're going to pick up again next week. Although on Sunday afternoon at 3, we're going to start our summer session of Let My People Know, and it's a taste of Talmud. And we're going to be looking at sugiyot, little self-contained passages from the Talmud. And we'll talk about what the Talmud is, what goes into it, and then we'll start studying these rabbinic teachings that will show you not only just the insight into the rabbis' minds, but hopefully something to chew on during the week as we go through our lives. So that's going to be Sunday at 3 p.m. Office is closed on Monday, and Yiddish choir on Wednesday. So you'll get your Zoom link, and if you already have a Zoom link, same one week after week. And then we'll be back next Friday for Shabbat services. Sam, did I miss anything?
Might remind the board they'll have a meeting on Tuesday the 8th.
Okay, Tuesday the 8th, Sam reminds us that there is a board meeting for the Board of Trustees. And you'll get more information as that gets closer. All right, let's close out 321, Adon Olam. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra li'et nasa b'chefzo kol azai melech shemo nikra v'acharei kichot hakol levahado yimloch nora v'hu haya v'hu hoveh Vehu yihye b'tifara, vehu echad v'yein sheni, laham shilo lahachbira, b'li reshit, b'li tachlit, v'lo ha'oz v'ha'misra, vehu eli v'chai goali, v'sor hevli b'yitzhara, Vehu nisi humanosli, manat kosi biyom ekra, biahado akid ruchi, bieti shan v'yahira, v'im ruchi v'yati, Adonai li v'lo yira. All right, so before we sign off, let's see who says hello to us this week. Jenny Bro, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Wishing all a good holiday weekend. Thank you, Jenny. Same to you. ML Glazer and Herman Glazer wish all a good Shabbat and a week of peace. Thank you, Glazers. Suzanne Hartz, Mari, and Suzanne wish everyone a Shabbat Shalom and a good holiday weekend. Thank you. Hope you have one too. Mom is there. Shabbat Shalom to all. Also a happy and safe holiday weekend from Cliff and I. Thank you, Mom. Same to you and Cliff. Judy Lundy, Shabbat Shalom, Shavua Tov. May all enjoy a safe and enjoyable holiday. Amen to that, Judy. And Diane Shadows, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Wishing for all a safe and fun holiday weekend. Well, thank you. Shabbat Shalom. A wonderful weekend to all of you. Be safe out there, and we'll see you soon.